Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. My name is Dr. Bundi and I am the Wellness Doctor. Some of you have followed me from my journey when I was only on YouTube, but now I guess I have some amazing news to share with you, and that's that I have joined the podcast space. So I will still be in the YouTube space, but I just wanted to accommodate the guys who are into podcasts. So I will be putting my content out there in all the major podcast platforms, that is Spotify, Google Cast, etc. So thank you for being here with me. I talk about mental health and wellness, and that's because I am a psychiatrist. And the thing is, not only am I a psychiatrist, I also have had my own personal experiences with mental health challenges and struggles. I have recently suffered from anxiety and insomnia, and I'll be sharing a little bit more of this specific experience in subsequent episodes. But for today, as the video is aptly titled, I wanted us to talk a little bit about 2021, and hence why my video is titled "Watch This If 2021 Kicked Your Ass." The thing is, I can't say I had a horrible year. I feel like my year was split into two. The first half of the year, in fact, I think it was three-quarter. The first three-quarter of the year was a roller coaster. When I tell you I went through it, I feel like that part character developed me, and I was like, hey. It was a lot, and it was everything from my finances to my career life to school. Because I don't know if I mentioned that I am currently at the tail end of my master's program for my psychiatry training. It was a lot. It was coming from everywhere, and I was just like, what? Can like one thing go right for me? But somehow at the tail end of the year, things looked up. Things looked up for me. And I guess this is to say, I'm going to be speaking from a personal experience, but also from what I've seen from a lot of my patients who struggled in 2021, right? So the video will be split into two, and the first half of the video will be just talking about what can you do to make sure that things are a little bit different this year than they were last year, right? So say, for example, you're like me and your ass was kicked on several fronts, say career, whatever. I don't want to go into what was horrible about 2021. I want us to start with what can we do this year to make sure that things go a little bit better. And I'm looking down because I've written everything down. Shout out to Kike Designs, who have this amazing video planner notebooks, so it's helping me stay on track. So the first thing that I would like us to do differently in 2022 is goal setting. So there's a lot of information and resources out there as regards to goal setting. I feel like especially in January, you will see a lot of content on goal setting, and that's beautiful and that's wonderful, and go for it. Do your vision boards, get your notebooks, write down your goals. That's all beautiful, and I support that. But here are a few things to do to make sure that goal setting doesn't stress you out, to make sure that you don't set goals that you eventually forget about by the time it's June, July. You don't even know what your goals were. So let me guide you on how to make goals that work for you. The first thing is take your time. Take your time to make your goals. You don't have to know what your goals are by the end of January. It's not a must. Like, you can still be setting your goals in February. There's no timeline. There's this misconception that January is the month where you have to figure everything out in terms of your goals and your direction in this year. It's not. I personally have not even started. I have not started. I kind of know the general direction I want to go with the year, but I've not written down anything. I've not started on my vision board, and that's cool. Okay, so take your time. The second thing in terms of goal setting that will really make your 2022 easy and simple and light is set realistic, simple goals. Set realistic, simple goals. We tend to complicate a lot when we're doing goal setting, and I know this because last year I did a goal setting workshop for a group of people, and I was just looking at some of their goals, and I'm like, this is such a complex, deep-rooted thing. Break them up into tiny little bits and pieces. You can have a goal like, I want to graduate in 2022. That's so grand. Like, do you want to maybe break it up and say, I want to make sure I have all my notes printed out. So start by compiling your class notes. You know, do you actually have past papers? So maybe start by photocopying past papers. So literally your goal for January could be, make sure I collect as many past papers as I as I need. See how that's very different from, I want to graduate in 2022. Like that's heavy. No, it's a beautiful goal, but it's heavy. Break your goals down. Simplify them. Simplify. It can honestly be something as simple as, make my bed every day, So set realistic, simple goals. And the last point in terms of goal setting is start with monthly goals. So I've seen the common thing is to just set goals for 2022, and that's great. But I am trying this year to think of it like month by month. In fact, even week by week. Life can be so overwhelming on so many fronts. I literally don't know what I will want in September. I feel like I have an idea, but for me to sit here and say I know what I will want in September or in October or in November, I don't know my situation in life. Maybe I won't even be in this country. Maybe I will not. I guess what I'm trying to say is, let's start with just January, or even let's start with this week. What do you need to do this week? Go week by week, set goals week by week, right? And that's goal setting. That was my point number one. Point number two, in terms of how you can do things better this year, is to accept your situation. Now, this one is difficult because I know a lot of you who follow me are dreamers like me. I'm a dreamer. I sit and dream about my ideal life, and literally that's what vision boards are all about. It's like futuristic and it's exciting, right? Wrong. It's exciting, but it mounts a lot of pressure, and sometimes there's an escapism to that. And here's what I mean. Let me explain what my point is. Accepting your situation. A lot of times we are running. A lot of times we are running from the reality of things. The reality of things is so. Let me put it this way. Last year, I was literally trying to do everything in terms of innovating and doing extra shifts and doing this and doing that and doing things on the side and hustling. And I actually just had to sit down with myself and realize that, number one, I'm dropping the ball on so many things. There's literally one job where I was messing things up so bad. I was always constantly canceling, and I can't do this, and I have to cancel this, and I can't show up today, and I can't do. It wasn't working. Running up and down, and then sitting down with myself and realizing I'm not performing to the best of my capacity. This even happened with a few of the social media campaigns that I was doing. I was dropping the ball because I'm trying to do everything. Yeah. And it was so difficult to sit down and say, Vundi, you can't do it all. Accepting that was hard, but it was necessary, because now one of the things that I'm trying to do in 2022 is to do one thing at a time. I know we have this hustling culture and have this side hustle and do this and do that, like boss babe, kill it on every front. But for me, I think that's not working for me right now. I think for me right now, let me just do one thing at a time, right? If it's this job, let me just do this right now, focus on that. So accept your situation. Accept your situation in life. If that man has left you, or if that woman has left you, and they are moving on and they are seeing somebody else, stop forcing issues. Stop daydreaming in your head, waiting for the day he'll come back, waiting for the day he'll call you. The situation is he has left. Healing and moving on can't start when you're still hung up dreaming and fantasizing and romanticizing the past. Accept your situation. Tough one, but it's necessary. All right. Number 3 is one of my favorite points, and it's simply learn to experience people. Learn the art of just experiencing people. So this one has a lot to do with friendships, and I definitely will do an episode on friendships coming soon. And I realized I put unnecessary pressure on my friendships. You kind of want a perfect friendship, or you want the friend that does this, and you want your relationship to look like this. And it's a very selfish and self-centered way to live and to exist. You wanting your friends to be a particular way. And you would enjoy your friendships and your relationships so much more if you just focused on experiencing people. Just experience. Like, I think I'll break it down in a future episode in terms of how this has really opened up my friendships and my relationships, and how I just navigate friendships. Yeah. It's less dramatic when you just experience people, right? We'll talk more on that. But my point number 4 is another one that, another one I had to learn the hard way. Stop narrating your trauma. Trauma? Let's take it back. Stop narrating your trauma over and over again. Hey guys, that was me. I've experienced some trauma in my past, and I realized it's starting to define me. Like, that story is starting to be the thing that I tell. When I'm having drinks with my girls and everybody's talking about something, I really like to narrate that story of how I went through this thing and how, this person hurt me. And it got so toxic, and until I just realized, actually it was my spouse, my husband, who told me, like, can we stop talking about this thing, because it's getting ugly. Now you are becoming the person who is gossipy and negative, and like, it's not healthy to keep talking about a trauma unless it's with your therapist. What's the point? Why do you keep retelling the story? That was a hard one, because we love to be the victim. We really love to be the victim. And notice I didn't say play the victim, because I'm sure whatever trauma you've gone through, it has actually hurt you, and But unless you're talking to your therapist, it's not helping your healing to keep narrating your trauma. Okay? That was number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. You don't have to interact with every single thought that comes in your mind. In 2022, we need to learn to just observe our thoughts. It seems overly simplistic, but let me explain. Sometimes negative thoughts occur. That's very normal. Sometimes anxious thoughts occur, or worrying thoughts occur. That's very normal. Sometimes thoughts of doubt. come into our mind. That's normal. But you know what we do? We like to interact with every single thought that pops into your head. A thought comes into your head, oh, you're so dumb. And you're there busy now paying it attention. And you're now trying to investigate your past and remember certain events where you were dumb. This is a practice that I learned from yoga and mindfulness. And, when a thought comes, whatever it may be, a negative one, an anxious one, a self-bashing thought, don't interact with every single thought. It can literally just pop in your head, right? Like the example I gave earlier, like you're dumb. And just let that thought pass and move on. Don't interact with it. When memories want to flood and remind you of how much you think you're dumb, let it pass. Don't attach a feeling to it. Don't attach an action to it. Just let the thought come and go. It sounds easy, but honestly, when you start practicing it, I started doing this at the end of the year when I was planning my wedding. And anxious thoughts. Why? If anybody has planned a wedding, you know what I'm talking about. All sorts of thoughts will come into your mind when you're planning a wedding. It's going to rain. What if our dresses are not ready on time? What if there's not enough food? All those thoughts come, and you can literally start worrying and panicking. And I started practicing this art just towards the tail end of my wedding planning. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. And guys, it has set me free from anxiety. It has set me free. Like, okay, the thought has come. Okay, bye. Next time, moving on. Let me think about something else. I don't have to interact with that thought. It doesn't have to give me palpitations and anxiety, because guess what? You are in charge of that thought. I won't dwell too much on that, and I will move on to the last point number 6. And point number 6 is have a spirit of gratitude. Have a spirit of gratitude. Because you know what? It's very easy to dwell on the things that are going wrong in our lives. And if you're not careful, you will start to see yourself as if you're being discriminated. And this point is tied into the earlier point of accepting your situation. Guys, the thing is, suffering is part of life. Suffering is part of life. You're not being discriminated against when something bad happens to you, when you have a negative experience in this life. And I'm really not playing down your situation, don't get me wrong, but it's part of life. It's part of life. And I've realized when you interact with older people, when you tell older people your problems, have you ever noticed how they really just handle them with a sense of, okay, fine, what next? For example, when I was, again, planning my wedding, and I was calling my mom with every single situation that's going wrong, like when my traditional wedding function was cancelled. I've talked about this so much. Guys, this is the last time I'm going to talk about it. This is me narrating my trauma. But it's a good example. So I called my mom and I'm like, oh my God, Mom, my function has been cancelled. And she's like, oh, okay, sorry, She said the sorries. She reassured me that she's like, okay, fine. So let's do this. We need to call guys. And I'm like, Mom, we need to sit in this situation for 5 minutes and dwell and panic. And she's like, look, this is not the last thing that will go wrong in this wedding planning process. You guys, that was such an eye-opener. I was like, what? What do you mean? She's like, yeah, stuff will go wrong. And true to form, so many other small things went wrong. So many things went wrong, guys. So many things went wrong. But with that spirit of anticipating and expecting that things could go wrong. You're not this unicorn or angel whose life is just going to be smooth sailing, So when bad things happen, yes, feel it. I'm not saying don't feel it. But don't wallow and feel like you're being discriminated against. And back to my point of gratitude, find something. There has to be something. Guys, there has to be something to be grateful for in your life. I don't know you personally, but find something to be grateful for. And every single day, wake up and be grateful for that one thing. It will distract you from thinking about what's wrong or what's bad or what's horrible. It will distract you from that. Find something to be grateful for. All right. So, guys, those are my 6 things that I would advise you to do differently this year. To ensure that 2022 doesn't kick your ass no matter what comes your way. And I'd like to end this episode with 3 affirmations, because you know what, guys, there is always an affirmation for what you're going through. There is always an affirmation that can sort you out. So I'd like you to say this throughout your January, throughout your 2022. Number 1, I'm not entitled to a perfect life. Okay? I'm not entitled to a perfect life. And I'd like you to say that, especially when tough times seem like they're prevailing. I'm not entitled to a perfect life. Number 2, and this one you can do daily, I just need to get through today. I just need to get through today. Keep telling yourself that when you're having a crap day. I just need to get through today. And the last affirmation is, don't lose what you have to what you've lost. Guys, I saw this on a TED Talk by a lady. I can't remember her name. But, 2021 it did a number on some of us. But don't let that rob you of the chance to fully enjoy and savor 2022. Because you know what? It's a new year. So leave all that behind. Don't let it now eat into your 2022. And that's it, guys. That's our first episode of the year, and I'm feeling so proud of it. I'm feeling like a mother who's just given birth. I am feeling like those are words that I personally needed to hear. Those are actually, if I can be honest with you guys, these words and this episode came from my journaling experience. So it's very deep and it's very personal for me, and I hope it touches you. And I really, really hope that you guys start off this year well. And if you've loved this episode, please let me know. Tell me something in the comment section. Share it with a friend or a family member who needs to hear these words. And I would love it if you could subscribe so that you could get to follow me on this journey and we can walk this journey with you. And I will leave you with those words. Please have an amazing day, have an amazing year, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.